Hello everybody. This is the dining room edition for today. This will be a fairly short sequence, just using your dining room table and maybe your chair. Okay, I have my table pushed up against the wall, which is important for a few of the things that we're going to be doing. And what we can start with is triangle pose. Okay, so the nice thing about the table is that it gives me alignment and support. Okay, so I'm able to go a little bit wider than I maybe normally would be comfortable with in the middle of the room. Okay, you can turn your feet, and then you can use it as a tool for alignment to see that this hip isn't rolling forward too much. It comes off the table a little bit, but it's not rolling forward too much. Your right hip is not pushing back too much. And if you can't quite get there, you can be here. You can be here, here. You also have the freedom to practice that turning upward, right, with this side of the spine. And if you want to work your way down, I rest my head right on the table there, and you can take your hand down onto your ankle if you can get it. And then you come on up and do the other side. Okay, this is stage one. Of course, you're still working your legs, right? You have to always work the legs, whether you have props or not. You can bring this arm up. You can go all the way over if you'd like. That gets a nice Parigasana-like stretch over here, right? A stretch all the way through that side. You can slip that shoulder underneath and rest your head. Breathe. And then make your way up. Warrior two, similarly, bend. Extend your arms. And you can use the table, right, to push yourself up if you need. Okay, I'll do Ardha Chandrasana. If you like to have a block, I'm going to try to use the leg of the table here, but if you feel safer having a block nearby, you can do that. I'm going to start over on this side of the mat and go wide. Okay, and at first, I have my shoulder resting on the table and my head is on my arm, just as I did in Trikonasana. Okay, I reach this arm up, and then if you'd like, you can slip the hand onto the table leg or onto your block and work your way down. And you can practice that because there's nothing here, there's no wall here to stop you, that rolling of the waist and chest and the whole rib cage up toward the ceiling. Okay, second side. Start over on this side. This works if you have a rectangular table. It's not going to work if you have a round table. So you can use your countertop or something. Right? I was almost going to film at the countertop, but I don't have enough room this way to get my whole self in the picture. So hopefully I'm not too backlit here. Okay, you can play around with this top arm. You could even bring it behind you to roll the shoulder back. Work your way down. And then come on up. Okay, tree pose you can do here as well. You could do tree pose to the side too with the standing leg, like this. That's one way of doing. I'm kind of liking having the buttocks up against the table. You can hang on here, bring the other foot up. If your foot won't go this high, don't worry about it. It can be down lower. I was a little chilly today, so I didn't wear shorts. So if, as many of you know, like when you wear pants, like the fabric can be a little slippery for tree pose, so you do the best you can. Okay, so both buttocks are at the table, which is important because I really get to see how far this knee can go back. Right? You take the arms up. And then change sides. Walk up here, and for Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, I'm going to take my whole leg up onto the table. I have my left thigh right at the table there, so it's helping to keep my hips in a good alignment. You know, we disinfect the table before and after this practice, just because you're doing that anyway right now, but now you got your feet all over the table. So you bring the arms up. If you want to come forward, you can come forward. If this is like this.
Okay, and trying to keep that knee, both knees straight.
If the table's too high for you, you go get a chair. Okay, and you can put your foot up on a chair down here, right, or wherever the height of your seat is. Okay, second side. Right thigh is at the table. I'm pressing down with the back of my left knee, reaching forward with the ball mound of the foot. And inhale and lift. Exhale, come forward.
That knee's going to want to bend. Mine just did a lot when you come forward, so you have to keep activating there to open up the back of the knee as much as it will.
And then come on up. Okay, we'll go to the side. I'll move back a little bit because that was hiking my hip up a little bit too much for what I wanted. Okay, so Parshva to the side. And take the arms up. And then second side. Pardon my back. So it's a little bit more supportive rather than doing all of these things, you know, without the table. Yes, we still have to use the legs. We're still engaging the core and all of that, but to have a little bit more of a restful practice. That's what we can do. So then you can have your feet about hip distance apart. Both legs are straight. And what I'm going to do is the table edge is right at my hip creases. I come forward. This is a good height for me. If you need to build up a little bit, you can certainly do that with towels or whatever you have laying around. Okay, you reach the arms forward. And let that table push into your thighs so that you get some traction here. And then you use your arms to push yourself up. And we'll do a piriformis stretch. It's kind of like a standing pigeon pose. This is going to be accessible for some of you and not for others. If you start to do this and it seems impossible, just back off and do another tree pose instead, okay, or another triangle pose instead. All right, so I'm standing diagonally so that I have room to swing my right leg up on the table. Okay, so I swing the right leg up. Then I straighten out my standing leg, so now I'm facing this way. Okay, pretty big stretch, as you can feel, most of you. The stretch will get bigger the more parallel you go with this shin. If you're in here, it doesn't feel like as much. All right, doesn't mean that this is wrong, it's just a different experience. So you do what you can to get that parallel. If this isn't enough for you, you can go over to your counter, which is higher, most likely, and the leg comes up. I'm happy here. Okay, and again, you can come forward. Coming forward is going to make it much more intense. So breathe. Try to relax into it. Where are you gripping that you don't need to be gripping? Push yourself up. I'm going to come out the same way that I came in. So I'm going to go diagonal with my standing foot, take hold underneath here, bring the leg in, and then I'll do the other side. Diagonal, take hold of the foot, bring the leg up, and then straighten out my standing leg. You can stay upright at first. You can bring your arms up. You can come forward. Okay, this side's a little tighter on me, so I'm going to pause at my forearms and see how it goes. Just ease your way in by using the breath, by relaxing, by only recruiting the muscles that need to be used. Don't tense up anywhere else, like in your neck or your eyes. It's just kind of like wasted energy in a way. Put the energy where it's needed. And then make your way up. I turn my standing foot carefully, diagonally. I take hold under here, and then I release. I'm going to put this back out here. And this has nothing to do with the dining room table, but I'm going to take downward dog just to even myself out a bit. And then walk forward. I'm not sure if you heard that, but that was Amelia grunting over on the couch. All right, so take a chair. And everybody's chairs are going to be a little different, of course. This has a pretty high back. You'll work it out, you'll improvise. I sit sideways. My feet are hip distance apart. Lift up. Exhale, gentle. Bardhajasana. Inhaling. Exhaling. Creating a fluidity and a motion in this pose. So you're not just going, as far as you possibly can. Work with your breath. If your chair happens to have these little rungs on it like I have here, you can work one to the next. If it doesn't, don't worry about that. And then release to the other side. it's a different experience than always being in one of the metal folding chairs like we use at Body and Soul, like we have here at my house. Many of you have them at home as well. Using your breath. So even in our vast knowledge and use of props, as Iyengar people, come on out, we can still get into routines, So say you don't have your yoga props one day, what do? You figure out how to use your table and your dining room chairs and whatever. Sometimes you have no props. I have my feet wider than the chair legs. I have my inner heels touching here. The knees can go out to the sides a little bit. I come forward and I take my hands down.
So say you can't reach the floor. What do you do?
Okay. If you happen to have yoga blocks, you get your blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can go find a couple of things. Probably use a couple of boxes of pasta, right? Ranzoni, about that tall, or whatever brand you use.
So just improvise. Release your head and neck. If you've never looked at the underside of your kitchen chairs, it's pretty interesting here.
Have to clean those. And then inhale and come on up. We're going to go back and twist again. This time turn your head the other way from the direction that you're turned toward. And release. Last time on this side. Turn. Turn your head the opposite way. Come to center with the rest of your body. And here's one I just want to show you, because we can do this if the table is pressed up against the wall. So I have a rolled mat here. You don't really need the mat if you just have one sticky mat, which I'm sure most of you do. You don't need the mat underneath you, okay? The chair's not going anywhere. The table has to be against the wall, or you put your chair up against the counter or something. And I have this here. I did it without the mat before, and just the shape of this part here was like really thin and sort of cutting. But you have to see, what you have to work with. So, very importantly, my heels are pressing onto the chair legs. Okay, I have my foot, both of my feet in kind of like a high heel position. Ball mounds are on the floor. And I want to get this mat that I just put there right in the center of the spine. Then what you're going to do is, this is pretty high. That's what I got, right? This is pretty high. You press the heels. You press upward. The head goes back. The arms go back. I keep pressing the heels, pressing the legs, and I'm in a nice big open back bend. You try to straighten your legs as much as possible. And then come down. Okay, so what's the mini version of that, right, is to go back here, okay? You can just have your hands on the table here, and this is a nice opening for some of you that aren't going to be able to get up and go back all the way there, okay? But let's do it again. Either you're staying here and getting a nice opening in the chest because of that mat, or you press your heels, press, 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 arms up overhead. And then lower down. Okay. put your feet back on the outsides of the chair legs. Come forward, nice convex lower back, round lower back. And don't even reach your arms forward here. You can just have them hanging down, or you can hold on to your elbows, release your neck. Breathe into the back body. Switch the grip of your arms. And then you can make your way up. I'm going to see if this works. Did not try this one out before. I'm just going to see. Get really close to the chair. Heels resting. Right, just to broaden the sacrum a little bit. If you'd rather just, lie on the floor, that's fine too, if this is too much for you. Take a few breaths. And then you can bring your legs back, push this away. And you can roll to your side and push yourself up. Surprised we didn't get any dog visitors. Okay, so hopefully you had fun with that. If you're wondering what these things over here on the table are, I got a delivery from my good friend Tish, who makes these amazing gluten-free brownies. Her company is called Jungle Treats. You can go to Jungle Treats, www.jungletreats.com. This is the mix. Okay, if you want your house to smell like brownies and have them warm, this is the mix. They are brownies with benefits. They have coconut flour in them. Some of them have flax seeds. I think these guys have ashwagandha root, which is a really good thing to be having right now, ashwagandha root. And they are delicious, and you will be supporting local business. It's my shameless product placement. All right, namaste, everybody. Be well, stay well.